Have your attention, please. Good evening, and welcome to the May meeting of the Farmville Town Board of Commissioners. The business of the town will be conducted. Those wishing to be heard will be heard at appropriate times. Tonight is a historical moment for the town of Farmville, and I'm excited to get to that point with our representatives from Farmville Central High School with us tonight. I am truly excited about that. Next year will be the 50th anniversary of Farmville Central High School, so that makes it even more special tonight as we move into year 2022, where our hometown is 150 years old. So tonight is a very special night, and I thank the coaches and the young people for being here. And if y'all will just hang on, we're going to go through a few preliminaries and get to you folks really quick, because we are excited that you're here, and thank you for being here. With that being said, I'm going to ask that you stand. Paul Ellis will be delivering our invocation, followed by Bert Smith leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good afternoon, everybody. That was great. Father, we come before your wonderful throne of grace, giving thanks for all the blessings you have given each of us. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. And most of all, we thank you for your Son, for whom we may have eternal life. Father, we pray for our country, our state, and our town. Bless the mayor and commissioners with wisdom as they make decisions tonight that may affect all of us. Father, we ask that you keep your arm, love and all protection around all of us, and help us to do your service. It is in your Son's Christ's name that we pray.
Amen. Commissioner Smith. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. First thing on your agenda tonight is citizen presentation, and for those of you that are here for the first time, this is a part of our process where we give citizens 3 minutes to talk about things that are pertinent to the town of Farmville, and all they need to do is sign up and come to the podium and state their name and their address, and they'll be given 3 minutes. There will be no comments issued by the board. If there is an issue that can be addressed, it will be addressed after the meeting. So it's called Citizens Comment, and then with that being said, Ms. Hopkins, you are our first speaker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Farmville, Board of Commissioners, and our Mayor Moore. Last month, I spoke with you all about our decade-long concerns as citizens of South Farmville, and as Mayor Moore and our Board of Commissioners like to call it, the Marlboro District. I learned in D.C. when politicians are underhandedly driving down the market value of neighborhoods, they love to come up with cute little names for newly gentrified areas. But outside of the schematics and semantics, I like to put the pettiness aside and just address our decrepit technology infrastructure. The value of broadcast internet services has never been more prominent than now. COVID-19 revealed to us within the last year, but here in our rural, low-income, internet-deserted area, we saw that we were exposed as unserved and underserved by broadband services. Over the past month, I've been researching and using my political contacts to come up with a solution to better our community. According to the United States Census Bureau in 2020 of December, there was a household health survey that nearly 700,000 households with children that are in public and private schools lack internet services, and that's a detrimental situation. So when the kids across the nation are still engaged in remote learning, we have to mitigate that problem. Many school districts are working with local governments to implement a viable solution called data casting. Some of you may actually be familiar with data casting. It's a type of technology that our law enforcement and emergency management use. Data casting is the process of delivering internet protocol data over a traditional broadcast signal. This has the potential to change remote learning and landscape both children and educators because of the ability to deliver digital instructional content and educational resources that would normally require internet connectivity. This service could be provided at minimum to little cost to consumers with Wi-Fi data casting receivers that are compatible with consumers' already existing TV antennas. Throughout the country, in states like Indiana, Pennsylvania, and even as close as South Carolina, several public television stations are already working to provide educational data casting services. My colleagues and I have already been reaching out to public broadcasting stations like PBS, and we know that they have the capability locally, regionally, and statewide. Just think about it, data casting can and will be the future of education. Educators can now do sharing of videos, files, and pictures to help students in the home. And, this is our chance to be on the precipice of technology and education. Educators can now, far too long, Farmville has fallen behind the curve. Tonight, you all are here to honor our Farmville Central men and women's basketball team. It's truly time to honor our student champions and give them a chance to succeed scholastically. It's our turn to bridge that digital divide. So I would like to continue to lobby for this initiative amongst our state legislators like Don Davis, our congressman probably like G.K. Butterfield, as opposed to Brian Murphy, because he does have seniority. And
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins.
thank you, no problem.
Thank you very much. Ms. Salam?
Great evening, newsflash. Melanated women have the right to freedom of movement too.
Ms. Salam, I will ask you, I'll either ask you to sit down or ask you to address the board. Do not address the gallery. Address the board. Address the board. Thank you.
No resident of Farmville has the right to impinge on the basic human rights of any other resident of Farmville. Therefore, those who have been behaving in terms in ways that looks like a lynch mob should refrain from impinging on the basic human rights of Farmville residents. Residents have the right to freedom of movement and choice of how they live their own lives without infringement by residents who have no knowledge of them, and all residents should be respectful of other residents' basic human rights.
Thank you. Ms. Tardy-Brass?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, staff, fellow residents of Farmville. I come to you tonight at first lecture and talk about some of the basic things some of the issues that impact all of Farmville. The one Farmville that we all live in, that is about transportation. Some things we can do to empower each other, support equality, support equity, support economic development. One thing is simply going on the steering committee for the Pitt County Comprehensive Transportation Survey, or committee. And we're currently having a survey out and extended to this Friday. If you need it in English or Spanish, I have copies back here. This is your chance to advocate for where we need sidewalks, bike lanes, bus lanes, public transportation, where you feel your motor vehicle may be congested, where there's problems, where things are unequal in terms of people being hurt, killed, crashes, speeding, noise, light pollution, sound pollution, or air, water, so whatever you feel is unequal and needs to be addressed with transportation county-wide, here's your opportunity to be positive, proactive, get involved and be constructive. So please complete the survey. It's available online. I know the town already sent it out for the utility bills. There's another way you can do it through the QR code. Complete this. Let the town, let the city, let the county, let the state know that we have needs in Farmville throughout the county so that we can get to home, to work, to school in a fair and equitable way. Another thing I'd like to tell you about is, again, the annual Ride of Silence. If you'd like to join us, again, this happens the same Wednesday night, May 19th. We'll be riding again in Greenville to advocate for accessible, safe, fair, equitable streets for everyone. The simple 12-mile or 12-mile bike ride is please escorted around the streets of Greenville to make sure that we are reaching all neighborhoods and coming together as one community, united to this state, so that we all can make sure that we have the same basic right to transportation, to be safe and fair to everybody. So if I have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, but I know my time has 30 seconds left.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And just to reiterate on what Mr. Hardebrash said, the board does not address anyone giving citizen comments. Ms. Margam, is that right? Did I say that right? Thank you.
Good evening. I wanted to take the time to discuss the issue Farmville has.
Name and address, please.
I'm sorry, Jaime, Jaime Marcum, Marcun. Address is 439 carcasses for scavenger species such as rats and other rodents, none of which any of us want to have. Additionally, some of the animals that cats kill are major consumers of mosquitoes. I don't know about how often, but I deal with less of our state bird. Lastly, there have been some places within the U.S. where cats acting as surplus killers have actually resulted in some of the species landing on the endangered list. TNR will help prevent Farmville from facing some of those same issues. Secondly, I want to point out that the amount of strays this puts on our community. By not controlling the cat population, we are putting extra burden on our amazing animal control officer, Katie Covington. We are putting extra burden on our overflowed shelters, and we are putting extra burden on the overworked rescues. Wouldn't it be nice if we could help minimize that strain and stress simply by trapping and spaying and neutering as many cats as we can? Thirdly, I want to try to figure some numbers and things out to help put things in perspective should a formal TNR program not be implemented. 3 to 4 months, the age of kitten can become impregnated and have kittens on her own. 2 months, the amount of time a cat's pregnancy lasts. 48 hours to 2 weeks, the amount of time a cat can get pregnant again after having one litter. 3, the average amount of litters a cat can have in a year. 4 to 6, the average amount of kittens in each litter.
I'll give you 10 seconds to complete, please.
And the numbers go on. One number I do want to share with you, 1.4 million, the amount of cats that are euthanized in shelters each year.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Now, for those of you that are here for the first time, there will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting to address the board with anything that you hear or any process or any procedure that you see. You'll have an opportunity to address the board after that. Commissioner Elks is not with us tonight. She is on the phone. Commissioner Elks, are you able to hear what is going on?
Yes, sir.
With that being said, it is time for the town manager's comments. Mr. Hodgkins?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Quick, there was reference earlier to the Farmville 150-year celebration committee. Farmville's 150th birthday is coming up on February 12, 2022. So there is a committee that has been meeting. They've already met 3 times with additional meetings in the future to plan several activities leading up to the big day in February 2022. There have been several activities already planned or in planning stages. There should be a calendar of events available soon. Come back to the board with some recommendations for anything that's formalized. But the committee's got a lot of energy and making a lot of big plans. I'm sure all of you know that the new library is open. It opened on April 19th. And there is a formal dedication ceremony which will be held next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, May 11th at 10 a.m. So that's when the formal dedication will be done. And lastly, the May Museum is planning a Saturday in the Park event. This is sort of in lieu of the garden party that they've had in the past. It's a little bit more informal than the garden party was. Scheduled for Saturday, May 15th, 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's outdoors in the grounds of the Bay Museum. In a social distant setting. They have music provided, food and beverages available. So I'm sure you'll hear about that. But I want to make sure
Anybody have any questions of the town manager? I have no question. I have a comment. This week I had an opportunity to call and speak with Miss Gladys Ellis. She turned 100 years old. And I'd like for the commissioners to keep this in mind, and I'd like for the town manager to help us come up with a way that we could recognize citizens that reach this age of 100 years old. I know that we've had several, and now we have one that's 102 in Farmville. So nothing else for the town manager. Brenda, do you have anything for town manager?
No, sir.
Next is the financial report. You have the report in your pamphlet. Are there any questions of Amy concerning the financial report? Anybody? Seeing none? Brenda? Okay. The next, changes, additions, and deletions to the agenda. Are there any changes, deletions, or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, is it a motion that we accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion we accept the agenda as presented.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion that we accept item G, changes, additions, and deletions to the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say no. Commissioner Elks, may I hear your vote?
Aye.
The ayes have it. That brings us down to the special presentation, and what I'd like to do, since this is such a big moment, I'm going to ask the girls' team, the ladies' team, to come down first and come stand right beside Commissioner Shackelford. I'm going to ask the board members to join me down there for this presentation. Just the coaches, ladies. Just the coaches. Yeah, that's why we had your pictures. So, can I get the ladies' team? Go gather around. Coach, if I can get you all right here. Come on up, guys. Coach, if you would stand right there beside Dr. Holland, and you're kind of close. All right, y'all hold it down for just about a minute or so. I don't have a microphone, but here we go. Resolution 2021-1503, resolution honoring the Farmville Central High School women's basketball team. Whereas the 2020-2021 Farmville Central High School Jaguars women's basketball team, headed by Coach Hollis Harper, finished the season with a record 14-1, and whereas the 2021 Jaguar women's basketball team achieved this success by going undefeated in the Coastal Plain 2A Conference, winning the 2021 NCAA HSAA 2A Eastern Regional Championship and reaching the basketball championship for the third consecutive year. And whereas the 2021 Jaguar women's basketball team was a very special team consisting of the right talent, chemistry, and will to exceed the success to lead the most unprecedented success. And whereas the success of the 2021 Jaguar women's basketball team ultimately united the entire community of Farmville in support of their endeavors in a manner that has not been done in previous witness. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Farmville Board of Commissioners, we hereby congratulate the Farmville Central High School Jaguar women's basketball team on winning the 2021 NCHSAA 2A Eastern Regional Championship and reaching the 2021 State Championship for the third consecutive year, and hereby present the team with this resolution, further evidence of this body, adopted by the Farmville Board of Commissioners in regular session May the 3rd, signed, John Moore. Thank you, Coach.
We just want to thank the town of Farmville for supporting the girls, just as well as the boys. I just want to thank y'all for supporting us. Without y'all, we wouldn't have done it. Without these young ladies, they wouldn't have done it without the support y'all had. I just want to thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Rutherford, you bring your staff. If I had a good day, I'd look at that and I saw it.
It's easy. How you doing?
Resolution 2021-1504. Resolution honoring the Farmville Central High School men's basketball team. Whereas the 2020-2021 Farmville Central High School Jaguar men's basketball team, led by Coach Larry Williford, finished the season with a record of 15-0. And whereas the 2020-21 Jaguars men's basketball achieved this success by averaging almost 91 points per game on their way to finishing the season by winning the NCHSAA 2A basketball championship on March the 6th, 2021. And whereas the 2021 Jaguar men's basketball team was a very special team consisting of the right talent, chemistry, and the will to succeed, which led to an unprecedented success. And whereas this success by the 2021 Jaguar men's basketball team ultimately united the entire Farmville community in support of their endeavors in a manner that has not been previously witnessed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Farmville Board of Commissioners, that we hereby congratulate the Farmville Central High School Jaguars men's basketball team on winning the 2021 NCHSAA 2A State Championship, and hereby present this team with a resolution adopted by the Farmville Board of Commissioners in regular session on May the 3rd, 2021, signed by me, John Moore. Thank you, Coach.
I'd like to thank the town of Farmville for bringing in our women's team and our men's team tonight. I've said it many times before in other interviews that this is not about me. It's about these young men and young women sitting out here. They're putting in the hard work, and you know, we're just along for the ride. Thank you for my staff, and you know, Farmville's been a great place. Thank you. Is that good to go now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll give you just a few minutes to do what you need to do.
Thank you. I'll just cut it. Shake your hand.
Coach, I'll give you a few minutes to do what you need to do.
Guys, I'm good to go now.
Wouldn't you love to have that kind of energy? One more time. I'm going to take my mask off since I got a little distance here, and Commissioner Elks, you okay with everything so far?
Yes, sir.
Good. Time to go to work. Item I is items for consent. Board, you've had these. You've had a chance to read it. I'll ask if there's anything that needs to be changed, or if there's a motion to accept the items of consent.
I move that we accept the items for consent.
Commissioner Hobbs has made a motion that we accept the items for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Elks, how do you vote?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Items for consent have been accepted. Items for discussion and decision. Now, let me say this to those of you, again, that are here for the first time, and it's good to see folks here. We are going to hear the presentation tonight of some Farmville area groups that are asking for our consideration during the budget meeting. There may be discussion from the board members, or there may not, but there will be nothing that is voted on tonight. It will take place in the budget meeting, which is scheduled for later on this month, which in June. We have a meeting scheduled for what was the date again, David? May 20th. Yeah, we'll get to that, but there will be no decision made on this at this time. So I'll ask that you keep it between 3 minutes or so, 5 if it's really needed. First up is the Farmville Arts Council. Anyone here from the Arts Council? Seeing none, the Farmville Community Garden. Anyone here from the Farmville Community Garden that wants to speak? Please come. Come on down. Good to see you.
Going since 2016, and we have got 25
about another garden towards the back on Barrett Street. So that we can have, and then it'll eventually have some walking trails in there. We've lined up some with the library to be able to do intergenerational gardening. So it continues to grow.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. The next item is Farmville Middle School. Is there a representative here from Farmville Middle School? Farmville Middle School, seeing none. From the Farmville Rescue Squad, is there a representative from the Rescue Squad? Seeing none. Presentation from the Farmville Senior Council. Seeing none. David, do we need to weigh in on you making comments on them or just the presenters if they're not here?
In answer to your question,
I'm just looking for the representatives to speak.
Yes, sir.
Kathy, you going to speak for the Senior Council?
Yes, sir.
You'd have thought I'd ask you when you were up here, wouldn't you?
Yes. You were just running the next.
I didn't know you had both of them. I apologize.
That's all right.
All right. Yes, the Farmville Senior Council. We've not been able to meet regularly because of the COVID, but we have done some Zoom meetings so that we're trying to get more communication. That's one of our things. Transportation, we still need to be able to get around and get to and from. We're hoping to get that van painted. Mr. Chester's checking into prices for that. But we've budgeted a certain amount, I think 2,000 altogether for the transportation. 1,400 is for the communication so that we can have the hotspots and possibly some tablets for our ladies to be able to use, communicate with us. Then we've got 900 for the insurance, and then 700, we're hoping to be able to do some board training so that we can be more professional in that purpose. So we're asking for the 5,000. And it's been going strong. We increased our budget, our dues from $2 way back when to $12 a month. And we've been doing that recently. We've got a drawing for a raffle basket. It's going to be on June 19th. Good fundraising for ourselves. And then there's a thing called the envelope challenge that I'm checking into. That apparently you can do fundraisers with that.
Okay.
So we're trying to be able to be a little more supportive, self-supportive. We still need your.
Don't move. Anybody got the question to Kathy? Seeing none. Kathy, is there anything else you got on here? Because I don't want you to sit down if you are. I don't want you to go through that again. You okay? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all you do for our town. Thank you so much. A representative from HB Suggs/Sam Bundy School. Is there a representative here? Seeing none. Pitt Community College. Is there anyone from PCC? Welcome.
My name is Cynthia Green. I'm here for and I wanted to thank Dr. ask prior to the pandemic, we had events in Farmville. We had a chance to take a tour that showed us a lot of what Farmville has to offer and what has to come. Pitt Community College, Farmville has been part of the Farmville
Anybody have a question, Ms. Green? Brenda, were you able to hear that okay? Brenda? Do you have a question? Okay, board, do you have a question, Ms. Green?
How many off-campus programs?
Yes.
How many does the kid community have?
I do have a question.
Dr. Hobbs has a question.
I do have one question. I know that the pandemic had impacted families and individuals economically as well as health-wise. How much of your program is recruiting people that were either displaced because of work or economics need to retool to get a different kind of job? Is that the kind of scholarships you're talking about?
Yes, we want to be able to assist them in transporting even if it's just the bus or transportation to that from our center as well as you know, just to assist them if they have to pay for one once the families is in need and have been impacted, even with the ones that were working before, they not working now, so there is a
I want to be clear. They can't use these funds to go to Greenville. They have to use them in Farmville.
We're only asking for Farmville.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. Okay.
All right, anybody else have a question? Ms. Green, one question. How does Pitt County Transportation play into this? I see their vehicles in Farmville all the time. Are these folks aware that this is in place? Could you find out if what their schedule is and how that schedule may be tweaked to get folks to there by using what's already in place? Because I see their trucks over here quite often. And if you would do that and let the town manager know and he'll get it to us, that would mean an awful lot. Okay? Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next is the presentation from Pitt County Council on Aging. Anybody here to represent that? Dave, is that a Meals on Wheels?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody here to speak to that? Okay, seeing none. Board, as I said earlier, this is designed so that we can hear. And Ms. Holmes, Kathy, you did a great job. Thank you for that. And Cynthia, thank you. Ms. Green, thank you. Board, do you have any questions or any conversation among ourselves here that we need to talk about? Can we do this in the budget meeting? Budget meeting?
Budget meeting.
Budget meeting, everybody good with that? Okay. Well, I don't think we need any action there, so that'll bring us down to item number 22. And this is the town currently leases a parking lot adjacent to the Farmville Public Library. David, I think you got this one, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is an existing lease that's proposed to be extended. This is the property that is between the library and the Pearson Shirts in the back, basically the alley there. And then it spreads over towards the church, but does not include the block between the church and, I'm sorry, the other side of the church from the library. The proposed lease extends another 5 years, same costs, same terms. Only thing that they have changed from the lease that was approved by the board 5 years ago is that previously there was an option to purchase the property during the 5-year term. They have taken that out. I talked with a representative from represents the owner of this, and she indicated that all of their leases, they were taking that out, so it wasn't specific to this particular lease. But that if we had some interest down the road, they would consider discussing with the owner the possibility if we were interested in buying that lot, they would entertain that. The owner of the property is not, but it's getting up in age, so there may be some opportunity there. The other thing I wanted to mention, the attorney and I discussed this today, he called it. The term of the lease is 5 years. If you look at section 3, side A, it says here that the term of the lease starts July 1, 2011. That should be July 1, 2021. It goes 5 years through June 30, 2026, about 15 years. What they did is they went back to the beginning of the whole lease, I think, and picked that up because the wording is that lot is used, is becoming even more important now that the library is there. It has encroached into a portion of the area that we own. And so we don't have that much parking that we actually own. It's right there, basically.
All right, anybody have a question or comment with David? Brenda, do you have anything for David? All right, is there a motion to approve the extension of the existing lease agreement for the parking lot adjacent to the Farmville Public Library?
I'll make this motion to extend the lease for 5 years to 2026.
Commissioner Smith has made the motion that we extend this lease. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Elks, your vote? The ayes have it. That'll bring us to item number 23, consideration of authorizing the purchase of new banners for the town of Farmville. And we're talking about purchasing 50 banners, $5,600. And David, it's been a while since we've had banners in Farmville, new banners.
Like, we purchased some Christmas banners, I'm not sure, maybe how long it's been, maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. We purchased banners and new Christmas decorations after having the same ones for many years. The previous banner, or the only banners we have now are the dogwood banners that are up basically March and April. And then also we have Christmas banners that we put up around maybe the middle of November and take them down in early January. We did have the green gazebo banners, but those have been up for so long they're worn out, faded, tattered by the wind. Not that many that are even usable. So right now we just basically have nothing on the calls except during those periods I just described. And we thought it might be good to put some more banners up on the calls. The proposed banner, or a couple designs are in your packet, shows the sort of patriotic theme because we can take it through the summer and fall, or spring, summer, and fall, basically pick up when dogwood banners came down. So basically May, June, which we cover Flag Day, July, which we cover Independence Day, through Labor Day, which is another flag holiday, for lack of a better description, and perhaps through, just basically September. That would give you another 4 months of colorful banners that would complement the flags that you already see in some places.
May I ask you a question? May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way you can incorporate the 150th year celebration on this flag showing the beginning and the ending so that it'll be relevant also to the upcoming celebration?
I don't know. I mean, there may be, I'm not sure.
I asked the same question, but I thought about it, what I thought about Dr. Hobbs, because I got excited when I looked at these. And then I said, but the last ones we had lasted like 15 years. and so.
Well, these are long. I guess in answer to.
But I'm just, but it still will historically tell the age of the town.
Right. I don't know. This is sort of a standard design, except they put Farmville on it. They may be able to put, some dates. I don't know. Amy was the one that had discussions with them.
Well, maybe not put the end time, just put the beginning time. In each year.
The other option
It'd been
would be,
yeah.
and I think, I don't know, maybe I was agreeing with this, I'm not sure if I talked about this, maybe I did talk about it, I can't remember. But we talked about, I know that some other places I worked, we did have a banner that was, commemorative, like a description of a birthday. And they stayed up for a few years, but eventually they sort of got stale.
Yeah.
If you leave them up after too long, it's not, people just don't really think about it. So as sort of playing on what the mayor said, these things will have a long life.
Yeah.
Maybe what we could do is we could vote on the banner first, and then talk about what the design should be at a later time. Is that?
You mean of these banners?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying we approve the fact to do the banner and then take some time to figure out what we want that tells the whole story of Farmville.
I would say, I mean, certainly that's your prerogative. We were hoping to get something ordered, before the, for sure, and I'm not sure if that would delay it or not.
It would delay it. It would delay it. So I tell you what. I'm sorry, Amy. I couldn't hear you. Right. Right.
Like Mr. Hodges was talking about, the banner with the birthday, and you could choose the vinyl material instead of the umbrella. And that would be a little bit cheaper.
Well, question for you on that. Couldn't we also get a banner that stretches across the street, so welcome to Farmville, 150 years old? I mean, and let that be it until February the 12th of next year. Is that something we could consider?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we vote on getting the banners first and foremost? Can we vote on that, then come back and talk about the design for a minute? Can we do that? Is that agreeable with your board? That we vote that we're going to get new banners? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a motion that we get 50 banners at a total cost of $56.71? Is there a motion?
I make that motion. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Dixon's made a motion that we purchase the banners at $5,671. Is there discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Your vote, Commissioner Elks?
Aye.
Okay, so it passes that we will buy the banners. Now, since you want these up by Memorial Day, that puts us in a tight spot. That gives us 27 days. Is that right, Amy? 27 days. Okay. So we'd be looking at 4th of July. Is that fair? Okay. But this is what I would like for the board to consider, is taking a long, hard look at what's in front of you and decide, and then as far as the 150, which is so important, because that committee has got so much energy and so many things planned, that we look at one of those banners, Amy, that go across the street to fly for that period of time, whatever is determined, and I'm sure Michael Cable will get excited about that. But is that the right way that the board would like to pursue this?
Yeah.
Please.
I think if we sit here and debate back and forth about what the banner should look like, that's not going to work, because everybody's going to have a different idea. I think that Amy and her committee, or whoever picked it out with her, she and David, have done a good job of picking something that'll be generic enough for the town, for the times that we need something, and then have your banner, and I say don't stick with one banner across. I say stick with, a banner, two banners coming in, in the town or whatever. But I don't think we should overthink what the banner that I think we're going to beat it too much if we do.
I'm gonna tell you what attracted me about the banner, okay? The license plate, which we have made such a big deal out of, and which has generated a lot of interest and a lot of concern, to me, matches the bottom picture. It matches the bottom picture. And that's what gets it keeps a certain amount of consistency there. So, what are the board's wishes at this point?
I'm good to go on with the selection. Is this a banner committee? Who makes this decision for these banners?
I think you're looking at it.
The banner committee is really two people that diametrically do.
We were just trying to come up with something that had something, because I have repaired and repaired and repaired and repaired. Don't have enough to put 50 into this stretch. Both ends of mains the way it should, so you can't put it back up. So it looks very
Can you, I mean, I think, I'm not speaking for everybody else, but it sounds like we all really agree that 50, whatever of these banners that'll last the next 15 years is really money well spent. And I think the patriotic theme is cool, but not trying to, you know, rush something and make a wrong decision for 15 years or make a decision we can't be 100% sure of. I mean, can you give us, you want to give us 10 more things and, or, you know, tell them to throw all the other patriotic stuff at us, or could he add some more font that says 150, or, you know, I don't know. I mean, help us feel comfortable with our decision. But I think the patriotic theme is really cool and it is appropriate for the months you're talking about, and it's needed.
Perhaps there could be something, you know, 150. You know, there's still some months that this doesn't cover. Dogwood doesn't cover, Christmas banners don't cover. There's a gap, and there's a couple other gaps during the year. We could probably milk this for,
If I may,
That's a good point, yeah.
let me say this. The 150th is a one-shot deal. It's one shot. It starts generating energy in the fall. It starts to generate. It really cranks up in January. And the way we're looking at this right now, the train should come to the station on or about the 12th of February is what the plan is for the committee, because they don't want to encroach on the Dogwood or the 4th of July or anything at that point. So in thinking about the 150, Dr. Hobbs, I very readily went to the banner that goes all the way across the street. Bert, is there or is there not a banner that hangs in the Plank Road that says "Give to United Way" or something like that from way back when Farmville used to hang those banners? In the one at Plank Road, give. That's right. That's right. That's right. So that's what I'm talking about. And I like the fact of the 4th of July that we have. I like the way that Brenda has done the Christmas parade over the years with the Marine Corps band and things of that nature. I like the font that sticks with the license plate. I like that. And that I think I would urge the board to steer away from anything that has 150 on something that we're going to be using, you know, 15 years from now. I would strongly suggest that and go with the banner. And then what else I would do, I would strongly suggest that you give that project to the 2022 committee and let them design it and bring it to this board for approval. And we move along with what we can do right now. Does that make?
I agree.
Brenda?
I agree. I do think.
Okay.
is that the banner that goes across the street?
Yeah, I think the banner that goes across the street should be, I think we should pass the book. The 2022 committee is doing fantastic things, and there's going to be a full report on this soon. They're doing fantastic things. And let them have that banner, let that be their project. It comes under their umbrella of that committee, and we decide what we're looking for here as a banner of Farmville.
So, I think we just decided that we like this bottom banner. And go with it as it is.
I'm asking the board, I just like the font of it. I think Commissioner Dixon weighed in on a few questions there of what could we do different, because I can tell you it's simple. You can read it. It's to the point. It's who we are. But that's just me. Dr. Hobbs? Jamie?
I'm happy to roll with this one. I'm happy to look at more of them. I mean, I'm easy.
Brenda?
I'm fine with that one. I think if we, like anything else, we could always put a lot more, talk into it, but I think Amy and David did a good job of picking out what they think will represent Farmville to do with turnpike.
I also think it's a great idea to give that responsibility to the committee
Yes, ma'am.
and let them come up with something creatively they can bring back to the
For their
board.
2022, okay. So let's, can you all agree on one of these? I think a lot of effort's been put into this.
Certainly, I can.
Okay, Brenda?
Make a motion, President, for the,
Okay, hold on, let me get back to my page again.
I can do
I would like one for the, like the license plate.
Yeah,
It's a
the
good
plate.
idea.
Okay, that's the one at the bottom of the page. All right, is that a motion?
I put that in the form of a motion.
Okay, all right.
We give the committee of two
All right.
right to go ahead and make purchase of that banner.
All right. There's a motion on the floor that we accept this banner. Okay? Is there discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Elks, your vote? Aye. The ayes have it. We will be using this one, Amy. Okay? Thank you for your efforts on that. Those are not easy things to do. Thank you for that. Thank you, Board, for a lively debate. That was good. Presentation, Town Manager's recommendation of budget for the 21-22 year, announcement of the workshop dates. Dave?
Here's something I need to pass to the folks here.
Good job.
Yeah.
And Town Manager and I will talk to Michael Cable
Thank you.
about the banner at the next meeting, and Donna, who's on the committee, and we will talk with her, with Michael about it when we get to him. We sure will.
And I can give you a picture of the
Yeah, that's quite impressive from back in the day. While David's passing those out, I do urge you to go over this budget with a fine-tooth comb. And during this time, if there is a question that you have, if you'll funnel it to David and let him address it prior to the meeting when we get to the budget, so that we all have a good understanding of where we're coming from. And David, I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Each of you have a budget, and this is a time when I have you, I guess, listening and attending to what's going on, what I think is going to be going on next year. So, I'm just going to read this letter that's in your packet. I've told the media everywhere I work, if you don't want to read the budget, do nothing else, because that's summarized a lot of stuff. So, just bear with me, please. Submitted herewith is the recommended annual budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. The document includes department head requests and my recommendations for your consideration. As you begin your review and consideration, please know that every effort has been made to implement all policies as directed by the Board of Commissioners without adding undue financial burden to the citizens and taxpayers of the town of Farmville. Beginning in March of 2020, COVID-19 pandemic took hold of the country and world, and the economy effectively shut down. The way that the town did business with the public, programs were offered changed entirely. Revenue sources were drastically impacted initially, including utility revenue, ad valorem tax revenue, and special vehicle taxes, development fee revenue, and sales tax revenue. Time of the budget fiscal year 2021 was formulated. There was not a clear picture of how much the pandemic would affect farmers economically or how long adverse economic conditions would last. Fortunately, the overall economic impact on Farmville and the state was not as severe as anticipated as the economy reopened. I might add, as an editorial comment, we still lost revenue during that period of time. Still, even as recovery continues, some revenue sources will continue to lag. Back to pre-COVID levels. Therefore, this upcoming year, like the current year, the proposed budget is still relatively conservative out of windows. The most significant funding challenges continue to occur in the general fund, where primary revenue sources are particularly constrained. The prospect for significant revenue growth is unlikely in the near term. Financial condition of the enterprise funds, water, sewer, and electric, are relatively strong and likely to be bolstered with new development occurring in town. Operational efficiency development efforts will need to stay at the forefront and continue cooperation with agencies that will assist in these areas such as North Carolina Department of Commerce, Pitt County Development Commission, the Green Community Alliance, and Electric Cities of North Carolina. The town has been especially successful in recent years in leveraging available grant funds and local revenues loans for essential needs from sources including Commerce, Department of Environmental Quality, Gold Leaf Foundation, Electric Cities of North Carolina, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Continuing these efforts will help the town to meet the needs of our residents and corporate taxpayer or the utility regulator. The budget as presented will meet the town's most pressing needs and implement the mayor as articulated in the document. The budget highlights are as follows. An ad valorem tax rate of 49 cents per $100 of assessed value is recommended for general fund purposes. This rate is unchanged from fiscal year 2021. It's been unchanged 20 plus years. Retail water rates are proposed to increase by 6% to maintain a sustainable rate structure to meet capital project needs and to offset a planned bulk water rate increase for Greenville Utilities Commission effective October 1st. These revised rates will fully fund all critical operational and capital needs of water reserves. No changes in the retail sewer rate structure are recommended this time as operational efficiency continue. The town will have more opportunity in future years to lower sewer use charges. The current rate structure will fully fund all critical operations and capital needs of the sewer fund without appropriating funds from sewer. No changes in the standard retail electric rate structure are recommended this time. The board reduced retail rates fiscal year 15-16 for most electric customers by 10%, reduced retail rates in 17-18 by 4.1%, reflect the wholesale rate decrease from the power agency in 2015 and again in 2007. Good stewardship of available resources in the electric fund will enable the town to meet all critical operational services. Solid waste collection fees to increase by 1.7% to reflect the consumer price index adjustment to be imposed by GFO effective for its contract with the town. This fee increase will not result in any additional revenue. No changes in general fees and charges structure are recommended because current fees services. Unrestricted undesignated fund balance in the amount of $326,952 is recommended for appropriation to general fund to finance certain non-recurring capital expenditures, including additional renovations to the community center, critical equipment and vehicle purchases, and improvements to park facilities. No appropriation fund balance is proposed in the water fund, sewer fund, or electrical fund in 2021-22. As we read, the available reserves continue to grow. Restricted fund balance in the amount of $59,250 is recommended for appropriation for Powell reserves to help finance street resurfacing, sidewalk ADA ramp installations, stormwater improvements, repair existing sidewalks around town. The town has a very healthy Powell fund balance, and no allocation was made for Powell reserves in fiscal year. Funds for continuation of town's longevity pay plan have been included during its full employees with significant all compensation and display employees-based compensation. Funds for continuation of town's merit pay for performance program have been included full-time regular status town employees. Under the proposal, merit pay will be awarded at the rate of 2%. Implementation schedule for around 3% cost of living and salary adjustment recommended for all workers status full, permanent, part-time, staff positions effective July 1st. Many town employees consistently meet work standards and see no increase in base salary for the 2 years. The regular adjustments to pay are essential to keep the compensation system based on market conditions. Quality employees in increasingly between Funding is recommended for several important capital purchases and projects in fiscal year 21-22 budget, many of which were deferred from last year's budget. Proposed capital outlay items and projects to be funded include street resurfacing, sidewalk construction repairs, miscellaneous utility system upgrades, continued upgrades at the community center, new computer equipment, gravel truck, several new vehicles which will be part of the multi-year financing package, improvements in town parks and playgrounds. Total of all funds as recommended is $18,814,667, which is 0.3%. Not 3%, 0.3% more than fiscal year 2021. So basically, the budget is flat as of this year, if approved as issues for consideration, future planning. I won't go into all the detail here, but I want to hit a couple highlights. We do have aging water and sanitary sewer infrastructure. We have a lot of infrastructure that is old and needs significant upgrades. On the water side, we've done exceedingly well in the last several years of addressing those needs to the extent that most of our critical water capital projects have been addressed. Sewer is not quite there as far along as water, but we are meeting those requirements as we can through a combination of grants and lower interest loans. I want to point out that approximately $14 million of local funds and grant and interest loan funds have been allocated for those 5 fiscal years to design and construct projects, including quite a few projects in the Farmville district. Stormwater continues to be a concern. This is an area that does not have natural funding sources, grant sources, so we have to really beat bushes for funding in these areas. And also, we don't have a dedicated stream of revenue that supports stormwater systems like water resources. If the town is unsuccessful in securing more grant funding for stormwater projects in the future, the town may need to consider charging a stormwater fee per developed parcel to provide system improvements. This idea was discussed at the February 2020 Board of Commissioners retreat. It was not pursued due to the continuing maintenance of town buildings, grounds, and streets. This continues to be the focus of a lot of what we've been doing this year and continue to do next year. Over the last several years, the town's made a concerted effort to address those critical needs, including improvements in the community center, exterior and interior improvements in town hall, police department, street resurfacing, repairs to school grounds, new sidewalk construction, installation of ADA ramps, repairs to existing sidewalks, as well as to improve the properties like the town hall. Utility rates. The town of Farmville in the water area currently has a contract to purchase postage water from the Green Utilities Commission for a 6-month period. Existing town wells will be utilized in the Farmville area. GC in the town of Farmville and Green County approved the purchase agreement in 2016 institutionalized many beneficial operational changes. Better spelled. However, the one drawback in this agreement was the wholesale price of water increased each of the next 3 years. This fee schedule, as well as a future capital project, could continue to follow retail water rates and trend. Retail sewer rates for Farmville customers remains a little bit higher than we would like, primarily due to the cost of operating with relatively low flows and high debt. However, anticipated retirement of sewer bonded debt over the next several years could provide opportunities to provide some rate relief in the future. Recent reports of grant and no interest loan funding result of passing and the availability of federal CDBG infrastructure funding is granted. development, in addition to relatively rapid retirement of long ago sewer debt, the 2020 sale of the sludge and water treatment plant should take more pressure off the sewer fund and should prevent retail sewers. The area of electric, I noted that there had been several cost reductions over the last several years that the board has implemented. Still responsible for its share of the Eastern Power Agency's remaining outstanding debt was fund anticipated electric system capital maintenance needs in the near future. System infrastructure, continue that situation is correct. Future capital construction projects. We're down to two. New Farmville Fire Department headquarters. This project involves relocating the existing fire department headquarters to a new, less constrained site into a new modern building. Land acquisition for the new site on Bay Boulevard was completed in October 2019. Architectural firm Davis Kane was selected on August 31st, 2020. Contractor design services was approved on October 5th, 2020. Today, the architects have completed the schematic design phase or into the process of the size and cost of the proposed facility without sacrificing functionality and quality. Funding for the project will likely come from a combination of town funds, grants, low interest loans, proceeds from fundraising. Disc golf course and greenway trails is the other project identified. The initial phase of this project was completed in fiscal year 1920. Development of the disc golf course town is efficient. Towns continued over time to improve and expand the park. This park development to provide the trailhead system. Then ultimately, a greenway system could bring the town with additional phases. Schools campus in the area south of located. Project is currently under study. Economic development continues to be a big focus. We know all those areas here, but we do have a very successful grant program that is taken advantage of by many investors in town, especially downtown. We are leveraging tremendous private investment. And finally, COVID-19 potential long-term effects on operations. The COVID-19 epidemic was called a hurricane that hit all over the country. Only time will tell what long-term effects it will have on town finances, programs, and business. Given that COVID-19's impacts weren't entirely known this time last year, the town approached the budget process with extreme caution. Town staff responded to the crisis in an effective and efficient manner, and the town was able to rebound. The town was very conservative in its spending, and several capital expenditures were delayed last year, but are now included in the proposed 2022. The town did receive $67,526 in federal CARES Act funds, which covered only a fraction of the town's response costs. So some lost revenue was recovered. However, there may be more assistance to local governments on the horizon. On March 11, 2021, the Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 became law to the tune of $1.9 trillion in new stimulus. The law includes substantial aid for state and local governments. With respect to local governments, some monies will be distributed directly to them, specifically allocations to counties and municipalities with populations over 50,000. Other monies will be allocated to the state for distribution to qualifying local governments. That is all municipalities. The monies will be distributed in phases, but the exact timing of distribution is limited at this time. Local governments will likely receive direct aid from many program services, activities, and projects. Town citizens, utility customers, and businesses. Because guidance has not yet been released, the amount of funds that Farmville will receive for purposes for which the funds may be spent, the exact timing of the funds that may be available are still being determined. Because of all these unknowns, the recommended budget does not include any revenue sources. It is safe to assume that these funds could be used to assist the town in recouping some of the documented lost revenue by the town for provision of services or funding of projects if COVID-19 is not taken. We monitor the situation closely as we wait for guidance on this issue from the federal and state governments. Fiscal year 21-22 proposed budget is presented for your review. This is assuredly the most important decision the Board of Commissioners makes all year, even which determines the course of the town operations for the coming year by setting funding of program priorities. Please take this document and read it carefully. If you have questions about anything in this document, please contact me. I propose that the board set a public hearing for June 7th, 2021. One or more budget work sessions will need to be held in May to permit this budget execution. Fiscal year 2022. Of course, you are free to alter or amend this document in any manner you choose. Discuss this document with you prior to adoption. I would like to thank the town's department heads for their assistance and cooperation of working with me to keep costs to a minimum and to make reasonable budget produce comprehensive plan for 2022. Also wish to thank the mayor, board, commission, for put hard to make it possible process. Finally, I'd like to thank finance director Amy Johnson for all her efforts and assistance through the budgeting process, and HR officer, executive assistant, city council.
The dates that you mentioned, we've already voted on and decided, is that correct?
You have just, you polled everybody, but I think we need.
Can you tell us those dates again for the benefit of the paper and for the recording?
Okay, we're proposing that the budget workshop be Thursday, May 20th, starting at 9 a.m. in this room. And then the public hearing will be set for your next regular meeting, which will be on Monday, June 7th at 6:30.
You said May 24th,
May 20th
May 20th,
at 9 a.m.
okay?
And then Monday, June 7th, 6:30 p.m.
That's a regular meeting. Okay. Now,
And that's proposed, you still.
right. So I thought we'd vote on this, but the 24th you polled, so that's where we need to go and approve these two dates, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Board, you've heard the May the 20th and Monday, June the 7th, one for workshop and one for public hearing. Is there a motion?
I move that we have our budget meeting on May 20th and the public hearing on June 7th.
Board, you've heard the motion by Dr. Hobbs. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Elks, how do you vote? Aye. The ayes have it, so we will meet on the 20th of May at 9 a.m. and we will meet on June the 7th at 6:30. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. David, I thank you and Amy for all the work that went into this, because that was certainly, it's been a challenge. With everything else going on, it was a challenge, but thank you for that. And I want to thank you too for that 46% fund balance. That's gotten a lot of attention from a lot of folks. Thank you for that. For those of you that are here for the first time and those of you that have been regulars, now's the time for citizen comments. This is where you come in and you can address the board. If you're 3 minutes, if you didn't use all your, you're welcome to speak again if you would like to continue with that. You will open yourself open for questions and comments from the board at this time. Did you finish your 3 minutes, Ms. Margam? Did you want to, I felt like you had something else. Please do. Please come on, because I want to make a comment about what you were talking about also. Yes, ma'am. And thank you. And thank you for this, because this is, before you start, this is something that we're very much aware of. So thank you for this. Please carry on.
And I appreciate the fact that you guys are aware of this, and I would be surprised if there was anybody who was not aware of the
Yes, ma'am.
their cat population. Like I said earlier, I do all that I can as an individual. I've only lived in Farmville coming up on 4 years, and I think in the past 4 years, I've probably DNR'd over 20 cats, although myself, I also have cats. It's just, I just do my part, and I wish I hope the town would support more formalized efforts in this effort. You know, I don't have a plan. I've not gotten to that point, but I would be more than willing to sit on any sort of committee comprised of, you know, myself, Kate Texton, I know Renee, who's here with me tonight, she has also started to get into TNI on her own as well. We just wanted to do
Well, thank you for being here, and this is something, I wish the chief was here tonight, but we got a lot going on, and I think that the board has addressed this. In fact, we had a group come over from just recently and addressed it, and we have pursued this and exactly where we are on this. David, is there anything you can weigh in on this?
I know that there was an issue, I think it was the rescue squad building. There was some issues there that Kath and I specifically.
Yeah, there was the rescue squad, and there was storage units. There was something that was trying to start up there as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things done by private individuals.
Right.
And I think with the rescue squad, I believe the town sort of enforced as far as having a full-blown committee or anything.
Would you mind, we're going to adjourn here very soon. Before you leave, would you get a number, a good number or an email that David can contact and let him share this with the chief and let us get back with you so that we can let you know exactly where we are, because I'd appreciate your input on where we're going with this. It would mean an awful lot. Would that work for you? So if you'll get him a good contact number, I'd appreciate that, and we'll follow up. Give us a couple of days, and we'll go from there, okay? And thank you for taking part of the process. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Good evening once again. I'd like to respectfully remind you that a couple of years ago, this board empowered me to actually design and make a generic welcome to Farmville banner that stretched across the street instead of the Cyclone North Carolina ride that came for the first time, using the second time. That's still located in the Public Works Department. It was made in such a way that it was just welcome to Farmville. I believe the dog with flowers on it. And it was promised underneath that we could actually hang the birthday or the thing. So this could be reused multiple times. That already exists in Farmville. We already have that.
You got 50 of them?
No, sir. So this would be the banner across the street. It would be the banner that would be nicely there.
Let me share that with Michael Cable, and here again, he's got a tremendous committee that's working, and I will share that, and I will, in between David and I, we'll tell him what you've shared with us, because this will come as news to them that we want to put a banner across the street. Yes.
And if it wasn't in time for Memorial Day, there's also Flag Day on June 14th this year, so before the 4th of July. But I would like to also comment on one other thing. I hear about the budget here. We're talking about the ADA grant issues with sidewalks that have been completed. Unfortunately, the ADA is actually a 31-year-old civil rights law that still has not been well enforced. I've seen this town build sidewalks this year. For example, on Lang and Contentia, that lacked these grants. We're still building sidewalks when we pave the roads in town, on the south side, the north side, the east side, the west side, that are not ADA compliant. This is a violation, as my understanding, of that federal law. So why do we then have to amend the budget to go back and fix when it wasn't built correctly in the first place? I brought that up to Wes Thomas previously. He said it was a mistake with the sidewalk contract or the cement pouring place. That's been months now. If we keep repaving these roads and don't build them by the law requires to be accessible, we now have to pay more money to go back and fix it when it wasn't done right in the first place. So I'd like to think we could take a more comprehensive approach and actually do it right the first time.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate all you do. Hey, the bikers coming back this year?
Right now, with the current governor, with the COVID restrictions right now, the spring ride is postponed to November. It's unclear if we'll be allowed to gather publicly in large numbers. So currently, right now, no, sir. I'm working on that more.
Would I be out of line if I was asking you, could you get 1,500 bikers to come through during the 150th anniversary? Would that be too much?
Actually, I was thinking while I was sitting here, I mean, I had to work with the committee, thinking about a 150-mile bike ride or something around town. I think that would bring out people for like an endurance ride. So I think we could time it that way, yes, sir.
I'd like to volunteer Commissioner Smith to ride the 150 miles. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thank you.
I can find a tandem bike, I'd be glad to pull anybody else.
Thank you. I'd like to see that part of the 150th. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Come on. Come on up. Just give us your name, and you can peel that mask if you'd like to, if it'll make you a little more comfortable.
My name is Steve Farmville. I represent North Carolina Black Women's Roundtable, and I've been living here for almost now a year. But prior to moving back here, I was a resident for about 5 years. And so one of the many things I'm a community organizer. I organize a food giveaway and COVID testing on Marlboro Road at
Salvation and Praise.
Not Salvation.
Right.
Not Salvation. I'm nervous, so I forgot the name of the church. Kingdom Life.
Okay.
Kingdom Life. Right beside the Dixie Point.
Okay.
But anyway, I deal with mental health equity and stuff like that in the Black community as well. And we know that there's been a lot of challenges since COVID-19, especially for the youth and especially in the urban area. But I wanted to hopefully try to get something going, maybe monthly community day in the urban park down on Main Street. Is that Main Street?
Bennett Park.
Yeah, so for the urban community, I saw there was a library day there. But just to, be able to, kind of have mentors on site with the youth, really talking and engaging with the youth, of course, safety precautions, but just to have the youth out, and there's not many places in Farmville they can go, and I'm a mom of 3, and, and so as you can understand with them being in the house, I know, things are starting to open back up, but still there's really nothing here for the kids. And then I got some nonprofit things that I'm doing in the community as well, using my own. But I just wanted to know, what are the chances of me being able to use that space maybe one day out of the month.
If I had 3 children at home, I'd be nervous too, so relax. It's safe, you're safe. There are several things you can do, and several of the things you have mentioned, we have strived very hard, and there are a couple of, buzzwords that are shaping Farmville now, and Dr. Hobbs and the board will weigh in on this. One of the things that we are establishing and moving very well with is one Farmville. One Farmville. And the events that you're talking about, it's for everybody. I mean, everybody. And it starts with a visit with a diagram of what you'd like to do to the town manager. And from that, he can help you get it to the recreation department, or if the recreation department sees necessary or sees whatever, they can in turn give it to Mr. Jeffrey Fields, Reverend Edwards, or Reverend Gay, or Apostle Aaron McNair, and help you to do these things. Recreation Department is very active at all our parks, and it's our effort to be one Farmville. So we would be more than glad to welcome those. And as we move past the COVID, and there's a very nice lady by the name of Linda King. She is organizing a national night out, and I talked about the head of STEAM that the 2022 committee has got going on. Well, they got to kick their game up, because she has absolutely got one of the largest night outs planned that I think I've seen in a long time. So there are a lot of folks that we can put you in, we can introduce you to, give you phone numbers to, and I'm sure they would welcome the resources, because we are doing so many things. Our young people in our town, about 61% of them live in a single single-parent home, and that is very serious to us. Also, we got the 4 schools on one campus, and we got all those children. We got a Boys and Girls Club. So there is a resource, but I would suggest that you get an idea of where you wanted to go, get it to David, and then he can say, hey, you need to be talking to this one and this one, and we can move along with that project. And we thank you for being involved and wanting to do that, because it's, you know, it's ideas like that that keep us moving forward with our endeavor to become one Farmville, and it means a lot. And I thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Renee, you got anything? Yeah.
Okay.
You look like you wanted to say something. I won't go let. You had that look, but how did I do?
All right, you got me. Renee Ayers. I live down on South Pitt, and I've only been here since November. I'm with Jamie 100% on the feral cats.
Okay.
I have been trapping a few, you know, when I can. I'm not the most liked or welcome person in town, and that's okay. But as far as the cats, and that's my big thing right now, and animals. I think, I'll back up here a minute. I would like to see the ordinance, the leash laws, you know, a little more strict, and people being held accountable for opening their front door and letting their dogs out. You know, I had half of my face ripped off
Lord have mercy.
when I was 3 years old by a dog.
Okay.
So that is something that's real important to me, is being in control of your animals.
Okay.
You know, and we can discuss that at another time. But yeah, I'm with Jamie on the feral cats. And Katie has been extremely helpful to me and resourceful. You know, but I think that instead of the people of the community complaining about the cats and putting the responsibility on everybody else, that they need to be held accountable for their own pets. If you're going to have a cat, get it spayed, get it neutered.
Okay.
Don't open the door, let your cat roam, and then expect somebody else in the neighborhood, in the community to take care of it.
Okay.
Because it's not the community's job.
Thank you.
But thank you.
All right. Hey, you had to look, so there you go. Anybody else? If not, I'm gonna go to Commissioner. Anybody else? I'll go to Commissioner Elks. Commissioner Elks, closing comments, please.
Thank you all. I'm sorry that I could not be there. I was much rather be there than in the full long for the next 2 weeks. But I thank David and Amy for all the work they've done on the budget, and I appreciate everybody.
Thank you. Commissioner Shack.
I think we have done a great job. We're going to do a lot of good things that will help us in the future.
Thank you, sir. You're very kind. Commissioner Smith.
No, I think it's been a great meeting. It's exciting to have the Farmville Central men's and women's basketball team here. I want to say special thanks to all the volunteers that work on the advisory committees. We approved a big slate of them. All those are hard jobs. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of time working on those advisory committees, and they're very important to our town. So thank you to all the people that do work on those committees. Also, I want to mention, I think Thursday is National Day of Prayer. There's going to be an event out here on the town commons at 11 o'clock. Is that right? I think that's correct. May 6th. So I think that's very important. National Day of Prayer for our town. And
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Dixon. Thanks, sir.
All the praise that Commissioner Smith offered is all deserved, and also thank you to the folks who stayed to the end of the meeting tonight, and especially to the people who spoke on behalf of the organizations making requests to the town. every organization like that. I mean, Farmville is fueled by the organizations around town. All we do is create an environment that lets you flourish. So thank you for that. And I'll just add one more comment. I looked at the Sunbrella website that Amy directed us to, and it looked like there was 38 patriotic themed banners, and I'm supremely confident that our committee of two chose the best one out of the 38 that were there.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Hobbs.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for everything that you do for the town of Farmville. We have an historic legacy, and as we continue to celebrate 150 years, I think as long as we work together, we will all benefit and make this a very, very historical time for Farmville.
Just a few things. I had a person drive over the other day to my home, former citizen of Farmville, to tell me how great our town looked. And I think we have all been getting accolades about how clean the town looks. Today, before I come to the meeting, I took my ride around, new house going up in Farmville. At last meeting, we discussed 86 new dwellings. We have 42 that are starting any day over at Dalton's Cove, and still more homes being built. There are 12 coming. And then right around where I live, there was another one started today. That is a tremendous accomplishment for us. You've heard a lot about 2022 tonight. You're going to hear even more as that committee begins to roll. It is going to be a 150th anniversary, and we are excited about it. I'm equally as excited about the library, which is going to be dedicated on the 11th of May, and that is a significant day. From what I understand, that's when the original library was designated, and people are coming from around, and people even actually buying homes because of that. David, I'm going to remind you one more time that Miss Gladys Ellis turned 100 years old, and I'd like to see us build in something so the next person at 100 years old, we can remember that. National Day of Prayer, as Bert said. I want to thank you for using the term Marlboro District. It means an awful lot to a town that's growing like Farmville. It means a lot to development. David, have we confirmed the ABC store yet? Is that confirmed?
I have not been.
Okay. We are doing a lot of work in the Marlboro District. We are replacing infrastructure that had gone unattended for 80 years. We have got CBDG grants that's working on 7 homes and building 2 more. And we're doing a tremendous job in the Marlboro District. And when I hear things like Farmville's not growing, or somebody take a shot at the term Marlboro District, it's insulting to the town, it's insulting to the citizens, and it's terribly insulting to a board that works so hard to seek out funds to make our town grow and make us one Farmville. I'm going to close with this. Being blind is a terrible thing. Being blind is a terrible thing. But someone who just won't see is equally as terrible. With that being said, is a motion we adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you for being here tonight.